The views and opinions expressed on the Craig L. Hay Show do not necessarily reflect those of Westgate Resorts ownership or management. And now, on with the show.
This is the Craig L. Hay Show.
And welcome back to episode number 4 here at the Westgate Resort in Las Vegas in the International Showroom in Elvis Presley's dressing room with sitting next to through that door right over there, and that is Barry Manilow's private dressing room. Historic place to be doing this show from, and I'm so grateful to Cammie Christensen, Don Rawl, and John Pierre for helping me out in getting this show going here and preserving the history of show business in Las Vegas. We're here still with Forestt Hancock, and we're going to wrap up this interview on this episode, talking a little bit about his experiences and some of the acts he liked doing, and the ins and outs, ups and downs, a little bit of the show business, and that's where we're going to take it from here. So, Craig, what would you like to talk? Not Craig.
That's okay.
That's
That's
his brother.
My brother.
So, Forrest, what would you like to talk about on this one?
You just reminded me of something. Steve James was working sound in this room, in the Hilton, and he worked Liberace.
Yeah.
And he watched Liberace do his act, and there was a place in the act where Liberace had all these fancy rings, and he would go down to the apron of the stage and he'd start talking about the rings, each one that he had, and there was a story with each one. Well, Steve looked at this night after night and thought, there should be a film running of when he's talking about those rings. And he told my business partner and I, Burl Kenny and I, about this, doing a 35 millimeter little deal on the rings. And we shot that, and it ran in Lee's show for a long time, for probably the rest of his
How about that? Yeah.
career. And Steve was the one that turned us on to that. So it's just an odd story, but
The beginning of video wall reinforcement on shows.
kind of, yeah. But I worked at Caesars. I was over at Caesars in when was that? Just a second, I'll get my game together here. I think it was around 93, 94. Anyway, I go in there and I'm building my house, and it was a great job because I had the daytimes free to do my house. And I got to work light board. I got to do Anne Margaret on a light board. I got to do her lighting, and that was a lot of fun to do. And I got to work one of George Burns' one of his last shows where he was just winding up, and that was really amazing. And I got to work the Moody Blues. They performed over there, and they were going to perform with a full orchestra. And somewhere at the last, they decided not to have the orchestra, and I wanted to see that. The Moody Blues with a full orchestra would have been amazing. I mean, they were fun to work, and I was really pleased that I got to see their show. I've gone to very few shows where I paid money to see a show, because they're usually working so much. To go see a show I never really wanted to take the time. So I really, over the years, I never saw, but I did see at the Ice Palace. I saw the Doors, and that would have been in the probably 68, 67, something like that. And they actually played the Little Ice Palace here in town.
Yeah, right down the street. Yeah, right down the street, down at the Commercial Center, yeah.
Exactly, and I can remember the guy doing the lights, and at that time they used an overhead projector, and a guy would have oil, like different colors oil on an overhead projector, and that's what they did for lighting. I mean, that's how primitive things were.
Yeah.
To see how show business has changed over the years when it all started, like, practically the medieval times.
Yeah.
So I got to see that, and let's see, I can't think of anything else. I'm kind of running out of ideas.
So working George Burns,
Yeah.
I ran his sound at the Riviera. I was
Oh,
front of
okay.
house sound at that time. And I would watch every little thing every time I ran his sound because he's a legend.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're getting paid to watch an absolute icon and legend.
Right.
And I never wanted to miss a second of anything. I'm just running this sound and with the orchestra and everybody else. And it's like, and I knew how important it was,
Yeah.
what was going on. And
Right.
I did Jerry Lewis and Tony Orlando, and I did a whole bunch of people over there. But George Burns was one of the, he is such a master at comedy too. Jerry Lewis is a master at
Oh,
comedy.
yeah. Yeah. I got to work
Kind of a
around
jerk.
Jerry.
Kind of a jerk.
Jerry
but
could be a little bit,
yeah,
you know,
but
one-on-one, he was fine.
oh yeah,
He was fine. But if he had my Jerry Lewis story, I'm working, and I can't remember. It was something where I'm the sound recordist, and I had to put a radio mic on him. And I used to hate putting radio mics on because you've got to go up and touch people, and
yeah.
that's something that was always tough.
Especially women, you have to get. Well, sorry about it. I got to put this,
Yeah,
run this over here through.
Yeah, putting mics on people is something but it's something you had to do. And I can remember trying to get, and he had his full entourage around him, so that made it even worse. And he was like, just cutting up with me trying to put the mic on him. I mean, he was really making me feel uncomfortable. And I guess he knew he enjoyed that, which but I didn't like it at the time. I didn't find it funny, but I did manage to get the job done, and he actually hired me to come over and do some recordings at his house. So I got to meet the guy, and of course, one-on-one, he was fine. He was, a nice person.
Yeah.
There wasn't nothing wrong with him. And I can remember going over and doing some kind of recording, and it was just, just doing the recording and getting out of there. But it was fun to be, around somebody like that. So it was another one of those little perks. And I got to work Kenny Rogers. Did you ever know he was the tech director here back when Elvis was in the room? What was his name?
I don't know. I would have been just a little,
You'd have been
13,
yeah,
14,
yeah,
15.
But anyway, this fellow, and I'll probably try to remember his name. Anyway, he wanted Starry, Starry Night, and I was coming back. I went down to Hollywood to buy some gear, and on the way back, he asked me to stop by and record Starry, Starry Night with Kenny Rogers. So we go to Kenny Rogers' home, and we set up, and he's in his living room, and he's setting up, and I'm wiring him up, and he sings Starry, Starry Night, and I'm just blown away. It's just like, just him playing the guitar and singing, and it was just magical.
Yeah.
And it's just like one of the things that happen to you that there's no money. It's like money is. It's like it's just such a fun thing that it's almost like you would pay them to do this.
Exactly. And we're getting paid to do these
And
things.
we're being paid to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah. These people in the audience are paying hundreds of dollars,
Yeah.
and we're getting paid to sit there and do these shows. And
Really.
that was never lost on me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But I think that's about it for me, Craig.
Oh, okay.
I think
Well,
I
any
brought-
other stars stick out? I mean, you had Lance Burton, you had a bunch of these other guys, but any other stars that you remember in the stories? Did you ever work with like Tony Bennett or any of these guys? Or
No, I never worked around the Rat Pack.
okay,
Other than Jerry Lewis. He was kind of a Rat Pack guy. But I'm trying to think. Oh, I'll tell you one. One time I worked the McGuire sisters, and we're doing a thing for R&R Advertising. They did all the convention publicity for the Las Vegas Convention Center, and they had the McGuire sisters, and we're getting ready to do a sound check, and I think we're out in the we were outside doing something. And I said, can I get you guys to do a sound check, And I think they're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They start singing like one of their hits, and it was just so awesome to hear. I mean, they could sing anywhere because of the a cappella, of their way the music they did. They didn't need any fancy acoustics or anything. They could do a song with their harmony that was just awesome. It was just like again, it was a spiritual thing. When when they started singing, I was just like, holy shit! I just wanted them to talk to me. And now they're doing a song.
Yeah.
It was just great. But just one of the things that really stuck with me that I'm glad I got to share that.
Yeah, no, that's the thing of the business. I mean, if you actually thought about it even more, you'd come up with some more guys that you're like, wow, that was really a cool experience.
Exactly.
And I've had so many of those with these people that, I just wanted to see all my life and do shows with, and all of a sudden they land here in this room. And I'm sitting here talking to these guys, and I'm going, wait a second, when I was 20 years ago, I was listening to their albums and and stuff, and here I am getting paid to do this again,
right?
And stand backstage with them and talk to them before they go out on stage, and like REO Speedwagon,
right?
What's his name, Kevin Cronin, from the lead singer, the band leader. We were doing shows, and so I go, and I was told, yeah, can you go down and get the band? So I headed down here to the basement because they were in this room right here where we're at.
Right.
I knock on the door and said, okay, it's showtime. They go, we can't go on. Okay, what's up? And they're like, if it was 20 years ago, we'd say no one's brought us the cocaine and the booze. But now it's coffee and donuts, and they haven't brought our coffee and donuts yet. So.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I'll be right back. Let me call
Fix
on
that.
Yeah. And so I called up and said, get their coffee and donuts down here as fast as you can. They're supposed to be going on stage in 10 minutes. Come on.
Really?
And they showed up. They had their coffee and did their shows. But, I thought it was just kind of funny. Yeah,
Sure.
The 80s was about doing the, the chemicals. Now it's coffee and donuts.
Right.
Things have changed. Age changed that side of it.
Sure,
so.
sure.
No. So any last words of advice for the youth out there deciding to come into show business, or
just always try to be true to yourself and have as much fun as you can have, and have some fun along the way, and don't just work every day. Try to enjoy your life.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Well, Forestt, thank you for coming in today. It's
Welcome.
We've got 4 great episodes here for people to listen to, and on, let me see, was that going to be the 27th or so? That next Wednesday? Yeah, I think 27th. So the 27th, they should be up and live, and you can listen to yourself and tell friends and family about it. Say, hey, listen to this. It's an interview. And
Look forward to it.
yeah, like I say, we'll see. Maybe one day we can do something aligned with 720 and get it on their stuff, so they'll have a history thing going there too. So
Right.
that would be nice.
I'm a trustee with the local, so I'll try to help you if there's anything I can do.
If mine is, I'm not looking for
Right,
another
I
source, but
understand.
if it's something that they want to do,
Okay.
I'd love to send it to them just to preserve the history.
Okay.
Because it's just as easy for me to send it to YouTube and these other places as it is to send to 720 and say, here,
Sure.
file this in your on your website or whatever.
Great idea. I'll try to do what
knows?
I can for you, Craig.
Who knows? But that's something else we can throw into the pile. So, anyways, thank you again. It's been great being with you. It's we've worked around, but not with each other, other than at this place for a year. But you're in the other end of the hotel, so
Right.
with all those guys hiding above Benihana
Yes.
in the old showroom.
Right.
So, all right. Well, thank you again, and
Welcome.
until the next episode, take it away, Talbot.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
Well, that's great.
Talbot was my business partner and
Oh,
owns
yeah?
the recording studio and
Oh, cool.
Sound Masters of Las Vegas.